Hey there, everybody. Today I wanted to talk about a subject that's been on my mind that I've noticed this week a lot of people having issues with, and it's really a basis for communication, to effectively communicate your ideas, your thoughts, and more so to be able to communicate what you want to communicate. So here's the problem. So a lot of people misunderstand the way communication works. So they assume that communication is a factor of you tell me something and then I tell you something back. Well, it's a bit more complicated process than just that. So in your brain, when you have a thought, okay, the information comes into you. It comes in through your eyes, through your ears, through your touch, through all your senses. Information comes in, okay? What they say, how they're dressed, the way they're standing, all that comes in. Goes into the more primitive part of your brain. Okay? The primitive part of the brain looks for the instinctual things. Their tone, the way they're standing. It brings up those things that your instinct, animal part of you understands from long times of evolution. But then it hits your thinking brain. And then in your thinking brain, now, you notice this is still subconscious. This isn't your conscious, just your thinking brain. Your thinking area there takes in that information and then analyzes it. Compares it to all the other areas of your life, all the other interactions you've had, all the experience you've had, and all the things you've learned. And then makes a judgment call based on that information that you were given. Then from that subconscious thinking area, it comes up to the conscious brain. I guess you could say almost maybe in between the subconscious and the conscious brain. This is where you get your filters. This is where you get, okay, so here's what I really think about what they said. However, I know certain parts of the way I would naturally word this are maybe not socially appropriate. So I'm not going to word it that way. So it recognizes words that you wouldn't want to use in this context. It recognizes ideas that might not be, kind. If that's, something that you in your life want, it will have a filter there for kindness. Oh, is this kind? No. Okay. Send it back. Give me a new sentence to give. But here's the problem. I wanted to draw a diagram for this. Unfortunately, my children have decided to dry up all the Sharpie pens. But here's the part that we forget, is that second area, right after we hit the very primitive brain, in the subconscious, the brain then formulates what you're going to say based on the impressions, the thoughts, and the experiences you've had. And all communication, everything you say, starts there. So, let's say, for example, that you work with a team, okay? And you are trying to motivate your team. However, your team feels like you don't appreciate them. And you say, of course I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you do, blah, 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 blah. Well, the thing is there's a natural inclination to say, what have I said that makes you feel like I don't appreciate you? They won't, probably 9 times out of 10, won't be able to identify what you said. They won't be able to identify a phrase you used. Because chances are, all very straightforward words and phrases you'd use to say I don't appreciate you get stopped by the filters. So those exact words don't come out. But farther back, if in truth you do not appreciate them, if instead you're just wanting more from them, instead of recognizing the good they do, then the choice of words, while not directly saying that you don't appreciate them, will not communicate appreciation, because your thought on them is not coming from a place of appreciation. There's this desire to change the words we use. Well, that's good. It is good to change the words you use. But if you truly want to change the way you talk, you must change the way you think. For me, I work right now in in a sales position. I'm enrolling individuals in a program for educational purposes. And for me, if I am in my thoughts in a place of, okay, this is a person, okay, this is another potential sale for every person to talk to, then the words that come out, regardless of how kind they are, how politically correct they are, how even well thought out they are, they will all be tinged with the idea of you are a prospective sale. However, if my thought process is this is a person who I would like to help, then all the words coming out of my mind will be tinged with that thought and idea of this is a person I want to help. And the starting place of the communication, the starting place of the words and choices of words that I use is in that base thought of what you think about this situation. So if you have a relationship, let's say, where you find that your communication doesn't work out well, that you don't seem to be able to work together or communicate effectively, but you can't identify any words that you're saying that would cause them to have an issue, well, it's time to go a little farther back. Time to go back to what do you think about them? Because if you think that they are lazy, if you think that they're incompetent, if you think that they are a stressful person to work with, if you think that you'd rather work with someone else, well then everything you say, everything you do, will have begun with the thought of I don't want to work with them. And so you've got to then change that underlying thought before you can actually change the communication. So rather than worrying about the words you use in talking to them, I'd focus on the thoughts you have about them, because that, as you change that thought, will easily change the actions and the words that you use in your communication. So go find some relationship that you can do better in and really analyze, what do I think about them? Write it down and decide if that's what you want to convey to them. And if it's not, time to write a new story. Hope this will help you. If you have questions, put them in the comments. Have a great night.